Stella and Marigold, written by Andy Barrows, illustrated by Sophie Blackall. Book 1. Story 3. Lost and Found in a Meerkat Mound. One Saturday, Marigold and her father went to a zoo to see a special exhibit about turtles and tortoises. After a while, Marigold said, "Where's the turtles?" "Right over there," said Dad, pointing. "Where?" asked Marigold. "There," he pointed again. Marigold was surprised. "Turtles on rocks?" she asked. Her father laughed and laughed. Marigold didn't see what was so funny. Next, they went to Gibbon Island. Gibbons are way more interesting than turtles. They use their long, stringy arms to swing from branch to branch, and they scream while they do it. Marigold couldn't take her eyes off the 4 loud gibbons whistling through the trees. She watched and watched until she forgot everything but gibbons. "Whoop!" screamed the gibbon, swinging its arms. "Whoop!" whispered Marigold, swinging her arms. "Whoop!" squalled another gibbon, swaying on a branch. "Whoop, whoop!" said Marigold, swaying from side to side. "Whoop!" howled a third gibbon, lunging from a tree. "Whoop!" bellowed Marigold, leaping sideways into a woman pushing a stroller. This time, everyone laughed, even the woman with the stroller. Marigold turned red. "I want to see goats," she said. So they went to look at goats, and everything was fine, except goats have yellow eyes, which was a little scary. After that, Dad wanted to visit the tapirs, which Marigold thought but didn't say were dull. And they both wanted to see the tigers, who were beautiful but sleepy. They arrived at the African savannah just in time to watch one of the elephants poop. So that was good. They decided that the Meerkat Mound would be their last stop. Meerkats are crabby little animals who live in big groups under the ground. The zoo had built a special, not very big tunnel so children could go into the mound. At the end of the tunnel, there was a window so you could peek into the meerkat barrels and nets. Standing outside the Meerkat Mound, Marigold saw many children crawl out into the tunnel. After a minute or two, they crawled back out again, calling to the grown-ups, "I saw one! I saw one!" The grown-ups would smile and nod, but they couldn't go in themselves because the tunnel was too small. They had to take their kids' word for it. Marigold got ready. "You stay there until I come," she said to Dad, pointing at a bench. "Don't go anywhere." "Okay, I won't move a muscle," he said. "I promise." Marigold crawled into the Meerkat Mound. It was dark. It was so dark, Marigold couldn't see ahead of her. She couldn't see the way to go. Was it only forward, or was she supposed to turn? If she was supposed to turn, which way? And how would she find her way out again? Marigold stopped crawling. It seemed to her that she should have seen a meerkat by now, but she hadn't. She didn't see anything. She didn't want to go any further. She didn't know what she was supposed to do. "Daddy?" she said, but of course she knew he was outside, on the bench, not moving a muscle. Marigold realized she was lost. She was lost in the Meerkat Mound. She remembered that when you're lost, you're supposed to stay put and let your grown-up find you. But her father was not moving a muscle, and he was too big for the tunnel anyway. She didn't know what to do. She decided to sit there until something happened. Children called over Marigold. Sometimes they said, "Hey," when they did it. A long time passed. Marigold felt sad and lonely. A kid came crawling toward her. "Are you Marigold?" she said. "Yes," said Marigold. "Your dad says, come out." The kid called on. How could she come out? She was lost. Marigold felt sadder than ever. "Marigold!" It was her dad, yelling into the tunnel. "Come out!" "I can't," she called. "I'm lost." You are not lost, he yelled. Go back the way you came. No, I'm lost, argued Marigold. You're supposed to find me. I did find you, yelped her father. I'll get her, said a voice. Hang on a sec, everyone. Suddenly the roof of the tunnel opened up into bright sunshine, and a woman in a zoo uniform reached in to lift Marigold out. She handed Marigold to her father. All yours, she said. Thanks, said Marigold's dad to the zoo lady. To Marigold he said, let's go home. At first, in the car ride, her dad was grumpy, but about halfway through the ride home, he began to think it was funny that Marigold had been lost in the Meerkat Mound. At dinner, he told Stella and Mom all about the trip to the zoo, how Marigold had thought turtles were rocks, how Marigold had screamed like a gibbon, how Marigold had been lost in the Meerkat Mound. All she had to do was turn around. He laughed, but she wouldn't. Would you, Mary Burry? I was lost, said Marigold. But that's all she said, and she didn't even care which flavor of ice cream she got for dessert. Later in the everything room, Stella and Marigold sat at their table drawing. Stella drew a girl who needed a haircut. Marigold drew black. She covered her whole paper with black. This is the tunnel, she said to Stella. I couldn't see. I got lost. Stella nodded. Everyone gets lost. Sometimes, even grown-ups. Even Daddy, said Marigold bitterly. Yes, even the Vice President, said Stella. Remember that time? Marigold looked at Stella. Yes, but tell me anyway. Well, one day, the Vice President of the United States was coming here. Here? Said Marigold doubtfully, looking around at everything room. To this city, and why? I'm telling you why. She was coming to see an old man and give him a medal. Why? Shh. Because he was so old, that's why. He was the oldest person in the world, and she was giving him a medal. What's a medal? It's like a metal button with a ribbon on it. It's a prize. I think a prize should be candy instead of a button. Well, the Vice President was giving him a medal, but the thing was, she got lost. She has a person who drives the car, but she didn't know where he was going, and they got lost. They were worried because they didn't want to be late. If they were late, the oldest person might die. Right? Where's the part with me? Shh, it's coming. They were driving by a preschool, so he stopped and went in to ask for directions. He went on the bench that day. Was I waiting for Chris? Chris was the gardener at Marigold's preschool. Marigold loved him. Yes, you were waiting for Chris on the bench beside the gate when you came in. And you said, can I help you? Because that's what teacher Barbara used to say all the time. She always said that. And the Vice President said, I don't think a little girl like you can help us. We're lost. And we had to get to the street next to Terrace Park. Is there a grown-up I can talk to? Terrace Park is down the street. That's what you said to the Vice President. You said, Terrace Park is down the street. And then the Vice President's driver slapped his own head like this. Stella stopped her hand to her forehead and said, how could I miss that? He was embarrassed that a little kid knew more than he did. What did the Vice President say? She looked at the medal in her hand and said, you deserve this medal, Marigold. How did she know my name? Your jacket was half off, and she could see the label inside. Oh, anyway, she said, I think it's more important to give directions than just to be old. But you said, no, that's all right. You better hurry to the old man. I'll get a medal for something else someday. What did she say? She said, thank you. That's very patriotic. I will vote for you to be Vice President when you're grown up. They drove away and got to the oldest person's house just in time. Thanks to you. Thanks to me, repeated Marigold. She thought for a moment. I was good. Yep, you saved the day. I saved the day, agreed Marigold.